Oh, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. Yep, I can. Is this Liz Lindsberg?
That's correct.
Oh, hi, Liz. This is Dr. Rich Mclean. I'm sure you got my rather intensely typed email this morning.
Yes, I received your email. I've responded to that. Did you get my email back?
I did, but I wanted to have a brief chat with you
Sure.
about the content of the email. Now, you've quoted the Disability Discrimination Legal Service hasn't got back to you. That's not my fault. That's on them. They're rejecting everything I send to them because of whatever nefarious reasons they have. I wanted to say too that.
So sorry, just before you go on, it wasn't that they weren't contacting me, but they said that they tried to contact you for an initial appointment and they couldn't get through to you, and that's why they weren't currently acting.
Case, why didn't they try again? They obviously don't want to talk to me and take on my case. That's clear. And if I just want to me on my behalf and maybe give them a call and say, can you please give Rich a call? That'd be amazing.
I just wanted to check with you as well, because in your email you're referring to Placido.
Yeah,
now,
Placido is from the
he works for
Legal Centre. And,
he works for Disability Discrimination Legal Centre.
Oh, right. I'm so sorry. I'm just by myself. Look, I've just been 2 weeks incarcerated against my will and tried to kill myself in hospital. So there's another legal fight to go on. But I'm just trying to get my head around this one. And I'm sorry if I get people confused, okay?
No, that's all right. That's all right. So, and I'm sorry to hear what you've been through. But so Placido works for Disability Discrimination Legal Service. I think from what there are other lawyers who work there. So I was contacted by another lawyer who works there who said that they had been trying to get in contact with you. And if you're saying you've been incarcerated, maybe that's why.
Get back to me by Tuesday and he hasn't. So it's just gone down through to the keeper again. No one's getting back to me from there. Going to have to use a blanket ban, black ban on my name kind of thing, which is to do with a lot of institutions and organisations I've had complaints to.
Well, my understanding was that if you contacted them, that they could assist you. The reason they were saying they couldn't assist you was they hadn't had contact. They weren't able to contact you. So I think if you call them back, they indicated they could assist. They just couldn't act for you at this stage when they couldn't get in contact with you.
Okay, look, I'm not a rocket scientist, but if I just sent that email to them this morning, they've got all that information, yeah?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not kind of part of your discussions with your lawyers, so I don't know what they need to discuss with you.
Well, I just infer to you that email I sent to you this morning was also CC'd to info@ddls.org.au, and I've said on the top of that email, CC DDLS, please contact me. Now, you can see very clearly that I'm trying to reach out to them. Why are they not getting back to me? It's their own reasons, and I know what those reasons are, but they will not acknowledge me. Now,
okay. Well, if you like, I can contact.
Email that I've asked them to call me back. Yeah.
Sure. Look, I can. If you want to, I can contact Placido there and ask him to contact you because you are wanting their assistance.
Well, I can't believe this. Like, you're saying to call them up. I've just literally seen them begging them to call me about this particular issue with all the details in it, and I'm being blacklisted and gaslighted. That's what's happening.
Well, I'm not sure that's the case. But you said you wanted me to advocate for you. I'm happy to.
Would you think it'd be unusual if I sent that email to you this morning, CCDDLS, please contact me, and they didn't? That would be unusual, wouldn't it?
Oh, look, I don't know, that info address may be getting hundreds of emails a day. I mean, I know that with, for example, the Human Rights Commission, we get emails like that, and people wouldn't be contacted in a day if they're copied in with multiple other people. It's just, it wouldn't necessarily be that they're being blacklisted. So why you had said to me originally you wanted me to advocate for you. I'm happy if you would like to contact the Disability Discrimination Legal Service and tell them that you've contacted me and that you would like them to act for you.
Yeah.
What's the best number for them to call you on?
Well, you've got my number there. It's on the email, 0400 639 248.
Okay.
Now, so, you obviously, from your intelligent mind, must be in on the game that they are trying to divide Oz Super from the TAL place in a tricky way. That if I take the complaint against one, the responsibility lies with the other. Now, that's pretty transparent. I'm not a rocket scientist and I'm not a lawyer. I'm just doing this by myself, and even I can see that. Do you agree? Yes.
So what I understood then is that you want to add TAL in as another respondent so that they're both...
No, that's not the question I asked you. I said they're trying legal babble and, this is this AVN and that's AVN. They're trying to switch the blame from one to the other. So I can't have agency to complain to the legitimate thing that has denied me the cover, which I actually would have used a very long time ago and not be squatting right now.
So, look, we had asked them a series of questions. They have come back and said, look, this is the entity that made the decision. And so it's not uncommon in our process that if somebody comes back and says this other body or organisation was also involved in the decision-making or made the decision, that people amend the complaint so it can include that other body. So it doesn't mean that you won't have a complaint against Australian Super. It just means that you could add TAL in as well.
That's fine. So you've acknowledged that I want to make a complaint against both.
That's right.
Thank you for your email. I understand that you wish to proceed with your complaint against both Australian Super and TAL. I'll put this amendment request to the delegate of the President. Now, who or what is the delegate of the President, I'll have no idea. I understand that as a result of your complaint, you are seeking TPD and the income protection insurance from Australian Super TAL. Yes, that's correct. And I also want to acknowledge that obviously I wouldn't put a total permanent disability down of $30,000. It was supposed to be $300,000. That's the first thing you haven't acknowledged. The second thing you haven't acknowledged is that that super, first there's a discrimination case. That's litigation in itself, which I hope you concur with. You're the Australian human rights people, right? The second thing is... So
sorry, I'm not sure I understood that part. Do you mind
You're the Australian Human Rights Commission. You have seen the evidence that they haven't got any evidence that I have any prior existing mental illness from the evidence they had collected, which I got from Freedom of Information. So there's one from my psychologist, Dr. Robert McKinnon, and there's one from Dr. Cooper, and neither of them, actually one of them says I have made no diagnosis yet, and the other one says PTSD. Now, that's nothing to do with the past, and clearly, I mean, it's not rocket science. You have seen the evidence that they have made the judgment on. They have not got a leg to stand on to say that I'm a risk. They've got the information from the public domain or somewhere else. Now, whether they've done that or not, it could be legal, I don't know. But additionally, I just want to say to you that I can't fight anymore, Dale. I'm fighting so many battles. I don't think you realise how hard it's been for me. And I'd really love some compassion and someone to actually... Maybe I'm approaching people a bit quickly. Maybe I'm coming across as a bit argumentative. But I am a sentient human being with rights, and I have... contributed amazingly to Australian society. and done a PhD and all that kind of stuff. But besides all of that and me being a good bloke and all that kind of stuff and quite sane, there's the issue that I would have used that income protection insurance during COVID, and I would not be in the situation I am in right now, where I'm squatting. I'm literally squatting. I don't know how to put it any blunter. I haven't got food. I haven't got money to rub together. I want someone to help me. I hope that you'll find it in your heart that, you know, that kind of ranting sounding email this morning was from a place of it was from a place of suffering, you know, that all these things have come upon me, you know. I mean, I explained to you, the GP practice rejected me in that case. I mean, they're all against me, all these institutions. They know who I am. They're trying to reject me prosperity, and they're trying to reject me money, and they're trying to reject me a good life. Now, I have evidence to support this, and when I find a lawyer to support me in it, I will be bringing it all forward and lumping the whole lot in the High Court if I can.
Okay.
Now, I just wanted to say that Dr. Whittaker evidence that you are now complicit in because you have the recording of it is absolutely 100% watertight malpractice, right? Now, that's confidential, I said to you, so don't share it to anyone, but there you go, you've got the evidence. Now, I would, if that took a long time to tell me that it wasn't granted, the cover, right? I don't know why that was. I think they were just dragging it out to make me suffer. But I actually think that that if it hadn't been granted and COVID came and all that, I would nowhere be near in this desperate state as I'm in now. And the reason that I'm in this desperate state is because I paid for a service and I've been rejected from that service because of discrimination and because of prejudice. Now, I've tried to share with you a little bit of a snippet into the past from, I call it Non-Ordinary Reality, but the book I wrote about my experience with so-called schizophrenia, which doesn't exist. You can see how the Herald Sun has published there a huge article saying my descent into madness. Now, these institutions and people and organisations are all wanting to shame and destroy me. I lost my job. I'm getting off the topic, but I lost my job 2 weeks at the age, and I'd been there for 5 years after that was published. Now, there are people out to get me. I know you probably think that might be conspiratorial, but literally I have seen the evidence that these people have made that decision on, and it is not sufficient, even with the exemptions of the legal health stuff, the mental health stuff they've got, to reject me that cover. Now, in addition to not having that cover when COVID came, I've now had a huge meltdown over my sexual abuse case, and my doctor's written me a open-ended sickness letter. That's considered TPD. So now we have another issue that even if it was granted, and you did advocate for me, it wasn't $30,000, of course, I put down as TPD. It was $300,000. Do you understand what I'm saying? Am I being clear?
Yeah, look, you're saying the amount of TPD that you put down was not $30,000, it was $300,000.
Yeah, they've fudged it, yeah, because they think they might lose. So they've fudged it, and, you know, I guess they think if I think I'm about pulling something, they don't want to pay me the money. It's all about money, Dale. I've paid for a service and I've been discriminated against, and I want you to please, as the senior investigator, conciliatory accredited mediator, NMAS, of the Australian Human Rights Commission, please take into account that evidence that they have, that they based it on, and nothing else, and acknowledge that it has been discrimination, and look, I know these. Look, I'm just one person. They're a massive, massive company, right? With huge banks of lawyers and all this kind of stuff, right? They're trying to crush me and not give me my prosperity, right? Which I could have been living off right now. Now there's the other issue of, well, I've suffered so much because I haven't had the cover. What litigation is there in that? That I've suffered so much, I've had to eat Weet-Bix for weeks on end, just to survive, when I could have been eating normal food, it opens a whole Pandora's box. I just want you, please, Liz Lindsberg of the Australian Human Rights Commission, to acknowledge the evidence they had and that it is a perceived mental illness, not an actual one, and that, I hope you can find some compassion, and I hope I'm not prickly enough, and I hope I've described myself well enough that you can advocate for me in retrospectively getting my cover and the $300,000 TPD. And
okay. Do you mind if I just pop in there? Look, and I firstly want to say, look, I haven't found you prickly, and that's not like, your behaviour or how you're dealing with me isn't influencing how I'm like dealing with your complaint. It's the same for all people, and I know I've talked with you a little bit about this before, but unfortunately there are some constraints with our process as to how much I can help you. And I hear you're suffering, like you're obviously in a really tough place and have had a really hard time. So,
and nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think unless you've ever really been hungry that you know what that's like. And I'm trying to be very patient with you, but I'm just trying to advocate for myself in a legal and just way that this prejudice and discrimination has happened for a long time, which I've proven with that other thing from the Herald Sun, and that they are absolutely walking all over me with their lawyers. And in addition to you, I know you've got your processes and you've got to be impartial, but you absolutely must see, without a doubt, that this battle is inequitable and uneven. If I can't get a human rights lawyer or humanrights.gov.au person to advocate for me, I need an advocate because I have some sorts of deficiencies, and I am deserved to get some help. Now, I'll leave that to you.
Okay. I might
Please
just jump in then. So just to explain then, so there is, based on kind of the information we have before the commission, that there is agreement between the parties that the TPD and income protection cover was declined because of mental health history. I know you're disputing the label of schizophrenia, so you're talking about an imputed past disability. So under our legislation, the Disability Discrimination Act, it does cover discrimination based on disability, whether it's something that exists or is imputed.
It doesn't exist though. Look, I just got taken out of hospital for the meltdown for the non-validation of my sexual abuse, and a suicide attempt on top of that. And it's actually not me; it's everyone else who's driven me to this. And look, the release notes don't even mention the word schizophrenia.
And I'm not saying anything about, diagnosis. I guess I just want to tell you about the law we administer, because that's what we know about. So we would say we can't make findings of discrimination, but we'd say you have an arguable case of disability discrimination. I had mentioned before that there is an exemption in the legislation in Section 46, which specifically relates to insurance.
I need someone to advocate for me to explain Section 46, because I'm not a lawyer, and I need someone to advocate for me on my behalf. Now, I want you to take that rein up, please. I'm asking for an advocate from you. Otherwise, this fight is uneven, inequitable, and they will win.
Okay, so if we go back to what we were discussing at the start,
to help me
okay.
go through all this.
So if we go back to what we were discussing at the start, I said I'm happy to contact Placido at the Disability Discrimination Legal Service and to say that you do want them to assist you and for them to call you. Shall we go there and then
into that, because I'm done with being walked on, and it's actually within the legal rights of the Surveillance Act. If it's got to do with my prosperity, my life, or my survival, I'm allowed to record what I want. So I've actually recorded this call. I didn't tell you at the start because I wanted to get your authentic impression, but I have recorded this for my further evidence should it ever need to come out. I will keep it confidential, of course, but I've asked you to advocate for me.
I just need to say I don't consent to you recording this phone call, but nonetheless, I'm happy to contact the Disability Discrimination Legal Service.
Okay, great.
And I was going to do it by phone, but if you would prefer to be copied in, I can do it via email.
Into it so it's all in writing, yeah.
So you want it done via email. So yeah. I'll email them back saying...
could copy... see, information's power, you know, and I'm an oversharer. I always have been, usually for the benefit of others, you know, to help them with their struggles. But I've been absolutely hind and quartered and tarred and feathered in society, on TV, on the drug debate, with Jenny Brocky on SBS, publicly in the media. My name is Mud, you know. They're going to try and get me. This is an inequitable and unfair fight, and I need someone to advocate for me to explain Section 36 and all this other stuff. You know, I'm not a genius.
No, that's all right. I appreciate that. And look, I can explain the law to you as well. That's part of my role. So if you want me to go over that, but I'm also happy to email the Disability Discrimination Legal Service, like we've discussed, and get them to go through it with you as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's do that. And when do you think can you give, what's the outcome looking like? I mean, when's all this going to wrap up? I mean, there are so many things feathering out here. Like, if they give it to me, it's got to be retrospectively paid, you know, back to when I started.
Okay, I guess a couple of things. So you're wondering about time frame. So now that I've got your confirmation in that email this morning, I've put the amendment request, and just to explain who the delegate of the President is. So that's the decision maker here at the Human Rights Commission. So I'm not the decision maker. So I've put your amendment request to them to say that you want to add TAL into the complaint. And so once that's done, then I will tell TAL about the complaint.
They rejected me. I don't know what's about. Why would you have to ask me that?
Just because of the law, we're required to amend the complaint. It's a requirement under the Australian Human Rights Commission Act. So okay. Once that's done, I will see if they're willing to engage in our process of conciliation to try and resolve the complaint. And as part of that, we'll put your resolution proposals to them, which, as you've kind of corrected on the phone today, you're seeking TPD insurance in the amount of $300,000.
Of course. I mean, it's illogical that I put 30 really for the rest of my life. It was 300,000. I don't know why they've doctored it, but I want to acknowledge that. And the other thing is, if it gets retrospectively paid, the income protection and that kind of stuff, well, I mean, what happens to the deficit of experience I've had since then? Is there another litigation case? Like, what happens? So
first of all, I guess you see whether they're willing to agree to that to resolve your complaint. They may not. In my experience, in terms of...
Sorry to interject. I can't stress enough, unless I get support and a legal person on my side to help with this, who knows discrimination law better than I do, this is going to be an uneven, unequitable, and unwinnable fight.
And I guess I should say, look, in terms of you achieving that outcome through conciliation, which is a voluntary process, we can't order that amount to be paid. It's unlikely that you will achieve that outcome. In my experience, I haven't seen an insurance company agree to that. What happens if a matter doesn't resolve through our process it is terminated, and you then do have the ability to lodge the matter in the Federal Court or the Federal Circuit Court of Australia. And the court can make a finding about whether or not there has been discrimination, and they can make orders. In terms of those orders, they can do a range of things, but one of those things is financial compensation. And the financial compensation can cover areas like economic loss. It can also include damages, and that can include damages for hurt, humiliation, distress, those kind of things. So you're saying what kind of, how would it be recognised in terms of the impacts on you? So that would be...
And this fight's still going. It's causing me great distress, you know. I mean, I've literally got evidence from the hospital to say I've what do you call it when you do your arm? You put something around your arm, and I've sliced my arteries open to die. Now, I should be dead. All these issues have got to me. It's not that I'm unwell. It's not that I'm sick. It's not that I'm depressed. It's because the powers that be are oppressing me. This is what has driven me to this. And on another topic altogether, if you could indulge me just for a minute, does a mental hospital have a duty of care to keep you safe? Because I suicided after they maliciously kept my medication from me for 4 days.
No, I'm sorry to hear all that. I mean, it's not something I work in or can advise you on about.
Public hospitals, or who do I go to? Like,
we don't do we don't do kind of duty of care, but when I'll contact Placido, and when you have a consult with the legal service, that's something that you can raise with them and get some legal advice. Okay. But it's not something I can give you any advice about. Okay. So I guess just
people, but even if I killed myself, it's not a human rights issue. It's interesting.
Look, I am concerned about everything you're telling me, but I want to be, I guess, clear with you about what I can and can't help you with. Certainly with this complaint, I'm trying to progress it. Now that you've given me that information, I am progressing it. Right now? Yes, so I hopefully will hear back. I haven't heard back from the decision maker at the Human Rights Commission about. Let me just check. Okay, so I have just received a communication from the decision maker approving the amendment to include TAL. So I can send that out to them today, and then they're given a period of 14 days to respond to your complaint and resolution proposal. When I have that response, I can contact you, or if you want the Disability Discrimination Legal Service on your behalf.
Please see me into that. So I'm going to put on the 24th of this month, Austrsuper, and TAL, and it'll be an outcome from them income protection and 300,000 TPD, and we're expecting them to say, go stuff yourself.
Look, I don't want to kind of, give you unrealistic expectations about what is achievable. So I'd be incredibly surprised if they said, yes, we're going to agree to that. You can have a look on our website of our conciliation register, which gives you an indication of other matters that have been agreed through conciliation, to see what kind of...
I need a lawyer, Dale. I need money and a lawyer to go after their asses. I'm afraid I don't have that, so I'm relying on people like you as being the middle people.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's start off. I'll send this email to DDLS, and then ask them to contact you, and that they're lawyers, so you can have a discussion with them. Yep. And I'll send this off to the amendment today. And I'll also be sending a copy of that correspondence about the amendment to you as well. So you'll receive that today by email. Okay, thanks for your call.
Okay,
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.